Is your war finally over? This is the main question that Godzilla Minus One poses to the audience and to its main character, Koichi Shikishima, a failed kamikaze pilot who is attempting to rebuild his life in post-World War II Japan. Godzilla Minus One is actually probably more of a war film, I would say, than a Godzilla film. But trust me, there's still plenty of Godzilla in it, but it uses this war film foundation as a basis to build off of. Godzilla Minus One is not your typical monster movie. It tries to be quite deep. It's not just about Godzilla pushing over buildings and fighting other monsters like recent films have been, such as Godzilla vs. King Kong. This is much more like the original Godzilla from 1954. It's a post-war commentary, a commentary about life, survival, what it means to be alive, should you feel guilt for surviving when others haven't, and what soldiers go through when they try to come home. It's an amazing movie, and it's easily one of the best movies I've seen this year. The hype around this is very real. This movie is very, very good. First thing I really want to talk about is the visuals in this movie. They're really good. Like, really good. It's obvious it's a mix of practical effects like old school Godzilla with a guy in a suit mixed with CGI. And I'm serious when I say that it feels almost seamless, and is so seamless that it makes you question if that shot is CGI or if it's really a guy there making this model and or guy in a suit do those actions. I mean, sure, there's moments where it's more obvious it's one than the other, but it's very smooth and the transitions go really well. It's a good callback to the old school films while also keeping a modern, engaging look for Godzilla. It's really cool and it's really good. There's a specific scene where Godzilla is chasing a boat. It's used in one of the trailers and in some of the posters. And that particular scene, the visuals are great. It harkens back to like Jaws, I would say. Definitely Jaws. And sort of that typical monster movie flair of, you know, the music's rising and rising in tensions and it's like dun 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 dun. I mean, obviously not using the Jaws theme, but that sort of vibe, if you catch what I mean. It's also cool to see Godzilla be like a real monster again. He's not sort of your like buddy with King Kong, let's fight different monsters guy like he is in some of the films. He's truly terrifying. There's a couple of sequences where he's tearing through certain parts of a city or, you know, attacking a boat where it's like, wow, that's actually really scary. It's not meant to be this kind of like cute action figure selling lizard guy. He's a monster and he's coming to kill first and foremost. Now, this movie takes place in post-World War II Japan, and much like the original 1954 Godzilla, it's a commentary on Imperial Japan, and how Japan's hate, rage, and anger morphed into something bigger than itself, and brought this nuclear monster upon their country. It's a tragedy, in a way. Watching Godzilla tear through this city is very human this time around. It's not just action sequences. You're like, oh my gosh, there's families there. You're very connected to it. You know, it's not like when you see a lot of these action movies and stuff gets knocked down and cities are destroyed and you think, wait, what happened to all those people? This movie shows you. People are suffering. It's, you know, innocent people who just want to go about their daily lives, come home to their families, don't get to, because this monster has wreaked havoc upon Tokyo. And it's an interesting topic to see it tackled that way. I think it's what makes this movie so good. The ability to humanize this more than human story. And that's sort of what I want to get into, as I had said in the intro, is it's war movie themes. There's a lot of heavy use of themes about PTSD, themes about family, what love is, how to get over grief, how to have survivor's guilt, how to move past that, and how to live honorably even if it doesn't mean you've quote-unquote followed what society tells you to do. Shikishima's failed kamikaze attempts lead to him being outcast. He has failed his brothers and his sisters of Japan. They expected him to go and die for his country honorably and save the country, basically. Whereas, you know, his sacrifice wouldn't really do much. They were still losing in the war, and horrible things were still happening to them because of the war. And there's nothing they can really do about that. One person, you know, flying a plane won't change that, but they're putting their own suffering onto him and making him do things, you know, as the government. There's a great scene where someone in the movie talks about the government and how the government, whether it's, you know, the US or the Soviets or Japan, they don't always care about the people. They care about what the government wants. And it uses the people to get what it wants because it provides shelter for the people. And, you know, much like Japan had sent soldiers to die, this time the people of Japan choose to come together and try and resist and escape Godzilla because they know the government won't help them. It's an interesting commentary, and it shows you a human side of not just politics, but relationships, and that we can rise past who we once were. We don't have to be this nation of war as we once were. We can come together, we can stop this monster, and we don't have to all die. There's a great scene where somebody says, I want this to have no casualties. There doesn't need to be casualties for this to be a successful battle. We can make this happen. And I think that's a huge theme of this movie, is survival and coming together as the human race and as the human people to be better than we once were, and to realize that living in and of itself is a very beautiful thing and a gift, something that we should not take for granted whatsoever. I think a final summary point before closing out the video and giving my final thoughts would be to discuss how this movie is a celebration of life. You know, it has a lot of themes about war, but first and foremost, it's not about war. It's about life, survival, and the beauty of it. Life is a gift. Whether that's a child that shows up on your doorstep that you had no intention of taking care of, and yet here you are taking care of them, that life is not just a gift, as I had said before, but it's almost greater than that. It's something that's precious, something to be taken care of, and whether it's eventually taken from you early or taken from you late in your life, you must live every day to the fullest, because it would be a horrible thing to waste any of that precious gift, any of that energy that we have been given to exist upon this earth. Existence is a gift, and to exist in and of itself is an honorable thing. Overall, as I said in the beginning, Godzilla Minus One is easily one of the best movies you will see this year. I was utterly floored by it. It's beautiful, tragic, and awesome. I'm sorry I haven't talked about it as much as I have some other films, but that's really because I want to avoid some of the key points and just tell you, please, go see this movie. It's awesome, it'll stick with you for a long time, and it's easily one of the best films you will see this year. I'm serious. I'm giving Godzilla Minus One a 10 out of 10. It's a must-watch. It is one of the best movies I have seen this year. It's one of the best movies I've seen in the past few years. It's an absolute must-watch. I love it. Go check it out. Go find a showing before it leaves. A lot of foreign movies don't stay in the US very long if you're in the US or in other countries. Check it out before it heads away, because, oh my gosh, it's an absolute masterpiece. I loved this movie so much, and it's easily my favorite quote-unquote monster disaster movie. I could absolutely see myself going to see this again literally today. I saw it yesterday. I could see myself buying tickets, grabbing some friends, and going and seeing it again immediately, because it was that good. Please go check it out. Please enjoy. And if you liked this video, please subscribe. Follow for more reviews. I review TV shows, video games, movies. I might even start doing comics sometime soon. I also live stream on Twitch. I'm going to be playing through the Alan Wake games and Control, so please go check that out below. And if you want to see anything else, leave a comment about it as well. I love talking to people in the comments, so tell me what you want me to review, tell me what you'd love to see me stream, and I'll hopefully get around to it. Thank you all so much, and have a great rest of your day. See you all later.